This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. 5 years ago, deep in a bear market, a group of traditional finance experts founded BitGet, and they've been building ever since. Now, with 20 million users worldwide, BitGet is committed to helping users trade smarter by providing a secure one-stop crypto investment solution with copy trading, future trading, and spot trading. Your security is their priority, and BitGet has one of the largest protection funds in the industry, with US $300 million to cover potential trader losses from unforeseen events that are not due to misconduct from the user or platform. BitGet wants to inspire everyone to embrace Web3, so if you're new to crypto, learn more at the BitGet Academy with free blockchain courses, crypto guides, cryptocurrency trading strategies, and more. Or for the experienced investor, trade smarter with daily access to institutional-grade crypto market intelligence and trends analysis with BitGet Research. I've put links to BitGet Research and the BitGet Academy in the show notes, so get amongst it or simply go to bitget.com. Thank you to BitGet, and now it is on with the show. And my guest today is Collin Woodward. Collin is the president of StealthTest, a secure cloud-based environment that enables teams to create test networks across various chains. Welcome to the show, Collin.
Thanks for having me, Andy. I appreciate it.
It is a pleasure. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show, Collin. Could you please introduce yourself? It would be good to hear a bit about your personal and professional story. It's an interesting one. I've had a look. What have you been doing in the lead up to getting involved in StealthTest? Yeah,
certainly. So as you mentioned, I'm Collin Woodward. I'm president and general counsel of StealthTest, which is an API-based software platform and developer toolkit that features private test networks for most EVM-compatible chains. Right now, we're live on Ethereum and Polygon, Moonbeam, Arbitrum One, and Arbitrum Nova. And we have a couple of new networks that we're adding just about every month now in 2 to 3 week sprints. So very exciting there. I guess to kind of, reel back things a bit, my background is actually as a corporate lawyer by trade. One who was very interested in emerging technology and kind of just markets in general. And as you might imagine, emerging tech plus markets, I quickly found my way to crypto in 2017. And actually kind of was introduced to crypto in perhaps a fairly common way that many people might encounter it for the first time. I was working in a large law firm at the time, and I shared an office wall with a colleague of mine. And one day in 2017, during kind of the previous one of the previous bull cycles, he kind of popped in my office while I was busy at work, and he's like, "Hey, you ever heard about this crypto thing? It's really big right now, and I think you should check it out." And I said, "Dave, I have no idea what you're talking about, but feel free to have a seat and share what you know about crypto with me." And so we chatted for a bit. I was extremely kind of curious about the technology and about what was going on with these brand new markets, and went home and did some research and signed up for a bunch of accounts at various exchanges so that I could begin to kind of play with those tools and understand the markets firsthand, which in my opinion is the best way to really kind of understand crypto at large. And I was fairly hooked ever since. During that particular bull market, lost a lot of money as quickly as I made some money, and kind of learned my first hard lessons, as many do in this industry. But then, the bear market of 2018 set in, and I really got down to learning the X's and O's of what blockchain has to offer and why it's important, and the new and interesting ways it can be leveraged as a technology of the future. So I did that mainly through, kind of lots of personal reading on my own, digesting some podcasts, fantastic ones, just like the one that you kind of run here, and developing a personal and professional network within the crypto industry, which I had never previously had the opportunity to operate before. And eventually that led me to a fantastic opportunity here at StealthTest in early 2021. And I've been here for the last 2.5, coming up on 3 years now, building ever since.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Collin. And I have to ask, what do your colleagues from, I suppose, your former legal life, what did they think of your pivot into crypto and Web3?
Yeah, I think initially it was perhaps greeted with some skepticism and perhaps some curious looks. I think that's especially true because when I jumped into the crypto startup world in early 2021, the bull market hadn't really taken off yet. NFTs were just kind of beginning to take a main stage as part of a feature of that previous cycle. And there wasn't quite tons of attention on those markets yet. However, as you might know, as the months went on, that changed very, very quickly. As the bull cycle was in full swing. I've personally never seen one quite like it, and NFTs really came to the forefront. And I think at that point I was fairly inundated with lots of curious questions about what exactly I was doing and what this technology was about. So I was happy then to become a mentor, an educator of sorts. So.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, give us some more of the origin story then for StealthTest, and just kind of, I suppose, explain the problems that you and the team identified and the solutions that you're hoping to provide.
Sure. So the overarching goal, I would say, is to provide this crucial layer of security and privacy and compliance so that large enterprise companies feel comfortable coming into this space, leveraging blockchain technology to execute on innovative Web3 strategies and kind of go-to-market products with their existing customer bases and kind of loyalty centers, right? The genesis of StealthTest was actually our work on VeeFriends, which is the NFT collection produced by Gary Vaynerchuk, if you're familiar with him. And
yes.
So in early 2021, we got networked with Gary. He's one of our investors and a really great kind of champion for us internally. And he told us about this 10,000 PFP project that he wanted to do. And at that particular point in time, the whole 10,000 PFP collection phenomenon was relatively new. You basically had, of course, CryptoPunks, Avastars, which is actually a project developed by us as well, and of course, Yuga Labs, Bored Ape Yacht Club. And so Gary was fairly early to the game, and as you might know about that particular project, Gary is his 10,000. PFP NFTs, each one is associated with a hand-drawn image of a particular character that now forms the basis for Gary's kind of digital intellectual property, right? And so we were developing the smart contracts for him and assisting with kind of all of the front end, X's and O's that need to be accomplished to publish something of this magnitude on these markets. And we quickly ran into a big problem, which is that the only way to definitively test the tokens that we created, the token assets, the metadata, everything associated with the tokens, along with the smart contracts, was to do so on a public testnet. And that was not something that Gary and his team really had an appetite for, because, as you might know, as soon as something is put on a public testnet, it is by its nature public. And so, anyone with, kind of relatively decent capabilities can scrape the blockchain, the public test nets for information and try and exploit that information for their personal gain, whether it's trying to front run markets or just gain additional information about what a large enterprise company is going to create in terms of IP, perhaps even identifying smart contract exploits that could put financial assets at risk. And so we had to create an internal solution to allow Gary and his team to do the proper testing that was required, and which really should be required in any event for all kind of large scale projects like this, and give him kind of the peace of mind that none of his proprietary data, intellectual property was going to be leaked beforehand. And in the event that anything went wrong during testing, that those kind of trials and tribulations they stay private, right? I mean, most enterprise companies, they like to test an experiment in an isolated sandbox like what we provide with StealthTest. They're not very interested in making mistakes in public that could potentially damage their brand goodwill, their customer loyalty, et cetera. And so that was really kind of the beginnings of what became StealthTest, which is now certainly a more full-scale developer platform with a myriad of different tools for not only testing in Web3, but also building and deploying to mainnet.
Got it. And, so when you guys first started out, and I guess in the height of that 2021 bull market in NFTs, so there were obviously a lot of projects from Gary Vee and, lots of other people all across the industry, lots of PFP collections, all sorts of NFT innovations, a lot of new users and capital coming in, a bull market. Of course, after that, we went into the crypto bear market, which we do seem to be coming out of now. But was that a challenging time the last 2 years as, obviously the value of NFTs dropped considerably, a lot of the trading volume fell away, and, people were much less interested. What was that like for you guys?
Yeah, fortunately for us, our business, our SaaS-based business, is not really tied to any particular crypto asset, whether it be, a fungible token or a non-fungible token. We do business in good old greenbacks, and what we're focused on is just identifying where the dev teams are building, how they're building, and developing those relationships. Regardless of where they are in the world, or whether they are a small dev team, or they're already situated within a large enterprise organization. Our job is to go out there and create those relationships and, kind of learn about the ways that they are building really kind of innovative products in this space, whether it's, decentralized finance exchanges, NFT projects, or something related, or, effectively anything that involves smart contracts or token assets. And I would say that right now we are finding, just because of certain regulatory headwinds here in the United States right now, we're finding that the majority of the builders are actually located in the Asia Pacific region. And that's where we're having a lot of success right now, developing relationships and kind of breaking through into a new market segment. I've heard, I did not have the opportunity to attend Token 2049, but from everyone that I've spoken to that actually had the chance to go, there's nothing but excitement from everyone over in the Asia Pacific region with respect to Web3. And I would say that temperature is certainly different here in the States at the moment.
Well, yeah, let's understand that a bit better then, Collin, because you are general counsel, you have a legal background, so you mentioned those perhaps regulatory concerns in the US, and it's a warmer environment maybe in the Asia Pacific. So how do you think about this from a legal perspective, and what do you think needs to change for, I suppose, Web3 to be on a firmer footing in the US?
Yeah, I think the short answer is that the Web3 industry, the crypto industry, needs a regulatory framework in place that is supported by Congress, right? Right now, we don't have anything that, acts as a guidepost for how certain assets should be characterized, whether it's a security or a commodity or something entirely different. And we have little regulation except for kind of some minute state-based regulation here and there that governs other things such as custody of digital assets, staking services, et cetera. And the problem is that because of this lack of congressional clarity around regulations, we have been left with, over the past year and a half, especially since the downfall of FTX in November of last year, a regulatory and administrative situation involving the SEC in particular, whereby we're kind of subject to a whole lot of what I would characterize as governmental overreach in many instances. And it's harming the space, and it creates a chilling effect across the industry, especially for those builders here in the United States, because many who are already here in building now have a very strong hesitancy to be public about what they're doing, for fear of kind of backlash or gaining unnecessary or unwanted attention. And perhaps they're even going as far as to dial back hiring and recruitment here in the United States, because they just don't have a whole lot of certainty about what the future of Web3 looks like here in America. And that's really sad. And it's something that can be combated by all of us in the industry who are out here working and building and fighting the good fight day in and day out, to start becoming more vocal about our positions, by contacting our appropriate congresswoman or congressman, and having one-on-one conversations with them, and kind of relaying the value of Web3 in general, and what the individual person is doing specifically to contribute to that vision. And the more that we have these conversations, and the more that people in Congress know that we care about this technology and the opportunity and promise that comes from it, the more they will, perhaps start to change their positions into the future.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, as a Web3 guy yourself, legal or not, let's assume then, Collin, that these the right regulations come to pass over, I suppose, the next cycle, just the next 5 years or so, and we get a better, more welcoming playing field, not just in the US but around the world, as more and more companies, individuals, businesses begin to experiment with Web3. Talk to me about what you see coming down the line as these token economies start to take hold. NFTs come back. We get an Ethereum spot ETF as well as a Bitcoin spot ETF. What kind of use cases, what kind of a world do you see starting to take shape in this alternative financial system?
Yeah, I think that kind of the biggest headliner here is going to be the stream of large legacy financial institutions that come into this space on the heels of offering real world asset products, to put, perhaps securities on chain, real estate on chain, a myriad of other kind of classical personal property that was previously just, either located in some sort of or noted in some sort of governmental database, or just a private company database that now will all be kind of collected on chain within a public blockchain. I think that's eventually where we're headed, and what kind of the next iteration, although it might be a boring iteration, of NFTs will be, right? If we have a property deed, a real world asset represented as a property deed on chain, that's effectively an NFT, right? It's a fungible good that is not interchangeable with any other like good of that nature. So, but I think kind of the major milestones here over the next 12 to 18 months, as you pointed out, are the approval of the Bitcoin spot ETF, which it sounds like there's a relatively decent certainty of that by mid-January. And then the other thing that I'm really keeping a close eye on is the Coinbase versus SEC case that's going on right now. Coinbase recently filed a motion for judgment on the pleadings. And if they're successful on that motion at such an early stage in the litigation process, that could really be the catalyst for lots of investment money flooding back into crypto. And in conjunction with that, the SEC being forced to take a large step back on its enforcement posture as of late. So I think those are two really important things that also time up well with, of course, the next halving. And as you mentioned, what would follow then, I believe, shortly thereafter would be approval of an Ether spot ETF as well.
Yes, because I don't know if you've seen, but it was just breaking news on Twitter earlier today. BlackRock is preparing to register a spot Ethereum ETF. So, and of course, that's just another sign that if they're doing that, it seems to follow that very likely that the Bitcoin ETF is going to go ahead.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I think BlackRock has already received sufficient signals that this spot Bitcoin ETF is almost a near certainty to be approved very soon. And the logical conclusion from there is that, well, what's the next one? And the next one is, of course, Ethereum, because it's the second largest cryptocurrency market. And also there's a great deal of precedent and commentary out there that lends the strong opinion that it's not a security under U.S. securities laws.
Yes, indeed. Fascinating times in the market. Crypto looking bright again. Collin, can you share any kind of, you don't need to name names unless you want to, but any projects or things happening that are utilizing StealthTest at the moment that are doing, something that looks potentially innovative? What kind of things are people testing out at the moment?
Sure. So we've got, users that do everything from utilizing StealthTest to build DeFi exchanges. We've had a couple of those clients, and there's really kind of no better medium for leveraging a private test net than when you're doing something like DeFi, because it just requires a lot of testing in a short period of time. Likewise, I would say NFT-based gaming, especially on some of the faster, more robust L2s, has been something that we've been working feverishly on, I would say. And there's lots of token-based loyalty and rewards programs that are also being spun up. I would say that certainly Starbucks and Nike have set the goalposts there and set a very high bar, but lots of other enterprise companies that we've been working with are also very keen to this idea, and they understand that blockchain provides a brand new way for them to interact with their customer bases and kind of gain an understanding of their purchasing habits in a way that they never really had insight to previously. And I cannot name any specific names on that front, but I can tell you there is lots of experimentation going on in the background, and it's going to take a little bit of governmental clarity for things to really kick back into gear here. So,
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, look, Collin, as we finish up this part of the podcast, just again, for people that are listening and maybe intrigued as to StealthTest, the kind of services that you offer, just again, run through those services, maybe include just rough idea of the costs involved, the kind of, I guess, customer segments that are most likely to get full benefit from StealthTest. What do people need to know, and where should they go?
Sure. So the website is stealthtest.com, and we have a bunch of different plans. We have of course, a free tier that allows folks to get in there. There's certain kind of innate feature flags that are built in there for the free version, but you can spin up your own test environment and start testing with your own assets, or using kind of some of our template assets, including our smart contract repository, and get a feel for exactly what it's like to build within your own private testing environment. So I would encourage everyone to give that a shot, whether you're a dev or not. Again, like the best way to really understand crypto is by being hands-on with crypto. And I think that pretty much everyone in the space would agree with that sentiment at large. The overall kind of idea here is that with StealthTest, we want to provide a one-stop shop for all Web3 builders to come and begin the iteration of their project in StealthTest and eventually go live with their project right from StealthTest. So you can go right from these private testing environments to mainnet with a one-click deployment, right? And that way, the developers are alleviated from the problems and the kind of the annoyances of having to go and find all these different piecemeal tools within different product sets that they then string together to create this development flow and process. We want to provide everything in one package because it's kind of our thesis that this is what the enterprise companies that eventually that are in Web3 and will come to Web3 are going to want, right? A one-stop shop where they can give some direction to their dev teams, and those dev teams can go out and they have the tools that they need to succeed. And, there's very little hand-holding necessary. The other big component here is that, unlike other kind of testnet simulated products like Truffle or Hardhat, we have these collaborative tools within StealthTest that allow our users to join up within a single testing environment and work together, as opposed to just having something on a local machine and it's kind of one dev at a time situation that isn't necessarily the most efficient and doesn't lead to really kind of expedited developer growth. So those are kind of some of the key features, I would say.
Got it. So there you go, folks. StealthTest.com. A link, of course, is in the show notes. But yeah, certainly looks like some very, very useful tooling for those developer teams to help build out the future of Web3. Collin, I think what we do now is we'll go to a very quick break, and then our listeners will come back. We'll have some fun. We'll finish off by running Collin through the very famous Crypto Conversation hot take round. Back in one moment.
Hey, what are you still doing up?
I've just spent my entire Friday night researching Bitcoin charts, crypto glossaries. My brain feels like it's going to explode.
Why don't you just use BitGet? It's going to save you at least 10,000 hours trying to learn it yourself. It's an online crypto exchange. You can copy successful real-life traders having their expertise to make smarter trades.
Really?
Yes, really. Don't miss out. Get on it now. And by the time you're done, Bitcoin will be worth about $100,000.
I just got my cat to help me do the research.
Hands off, gains up. Start copy trading on BitGet.
All right, we are back, and I'm with Collin Woodward, President and General Counsel of StealthTest, a secure cloud-based private environment, really enabling developer teams to test all sorts of Web3 functionality across EVM-compatible chains. Collin, I like to finish each podcast with a quick round of rapid-fire crypto conversation hot takes. Are you up for it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Collin. Just going to run some questions at you. Just want you to give me your, honest, hot take style answers. Just a bit of fun. But question one for you, Collin. Where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Oh, I am certainly on the multi-chain side of things. I love Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has a place in every portfolio, and is never going away. It it was kind of born out of the beginnings of blockchain, and it will always be a stallion amongst the cryptos, if not the stallion. But there's just such tremendous opportunity outside of Bitcoin that, especially within the Ethereum ecosystem, that I have to call myself a multi-chain fan here.
Yes, indeed. All right, Collin, what would you say then is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
My firmest conviction is that I think right now the Ethereum ecosystem is going to be the Web3 internet computer of all things. And I think it has such a massive lead and is sufficiently decentralized such that it has a really big advantage right now. And especially with lots of, innovative L2s building on top, that ecosystem is going to be very difficult to overtake anytime soon. Now, I should also note that I'm also a big fan of Solana. And I think that eventually there will be, some collaboration between Ethereum and Solana, because eventually the metaversal world that we all hope comes to fruition at some point in the future, right? Which kind of encapsulates the idea of Web3, has all these different blockchains, whether they're based in Solidity or Rust, communicating in some fashion or not. And that goes back to the previous question. And so I'll double and triple down on, multi-chain is the future here.
Yes, indeed. All right. Look, Collin, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. 10 years in blockchain, of course, is a very long time indeed. But yeah, what do you think Web3 looks like in 10 years' time?
That is really incredible to think about. And I think for one particular reason, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Just as of, 2019, ChatGPT-2 couldn't even reliably count to 10. And here we are 4 years later, and it is the most sophisticated AI that we've ever seen. You can have active conversations with it, and it's a virtual certainty to be incorporated in most, business settings within the coming, 3 to 5 years. And so I think business is going to end up heavily relying upon generative AI in some fashion, which is to be kind of distinguished from autonomous AI, which is kind of a whole nother conversation. But once these AI tools and these AI models start to continue to develop over the next 3 to 5 years, I see them also impacting the development of crypto-related products and applications, and impacting how these blockchains communicate with one another. And it's really difficult to provide an estimate of what crypto itself looks like because of the impact of AI and how quickly it has just taken hold and how quickly it is, continuing to accelerate itself on a monthly basis here.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I guess the opposite of that is a quote by William Gibson, who said, "The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed." Can you think of an example of the future being here right now, Collin, but most people aren't aware of it?
Sure. Most people aren't aware of blockchain technology. I go out there and I introduce myself to people, and I say, "Hi, I'm Collin. I'm a blockchain attorney." And they say, "What is blockchain?" And then I say Web3, and they're like, "Well, what is Web3?" And I said, "Okay, I'm a crypto lawyer." And then it clicks for them, right? So the underlying technology, blockchain, is something that most people don't know about. And my thesis is that blockchain is going to become the backbone for what will eventually be this next iteration of the internet. And it's it's something that can provide global industry agnostic opportunities for innovation and competition and growth. And most people don't know about it. Most people don't have a digital wallet yet. They will, but right now they don't. So that is the best example that I can think of the future already being here, but that future is somewhat hidden, in the corner from most people, and that's just because, in large part, we have not achieved mainstream adoption yet. But that will come with time and further product development, and kind of attempting to obfuscate the blockchain type mechanisms behind how people interact in the digital age now.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for your thoughts, Collin. Time to finish this off. Finally, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
I would say that I am a tremendous fan of everything involving space. I love space movies. I have fantasies of going to Mars, hopefully coming back as well. For that reason, Interstellar is one of my all-time favorites. Apollo 13. Let's see. There's a number of really phenomenal space movies out there, and that's just something that I can never get enough of, I would say.
Yeah, fantastic. Interstellar, of course, an incredible Christopher Nolan film. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think that, it's an interesting time to be alive. And it's a cliche to say that, Collin, but, on the one hand, we're literally here for the birth of AI. Amazing to think that this is happening in our lifetimes. We're here for the birth of decentralized digital currencies outside of state control. We're seeing that happen in our lifetime. And it's possible that, if we get to live long enough, thanks to advances in medical care, we might get to go to Mars if Elon Musk has his way as well, Collin.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and relatedly, like stem cell research as well. And then when you pair all that research with AI, I mean, AI in particular is really creating leaps and bounds for the biosciences industry right now. That's one area that it has the opportunity to benefit all humans on this planet very quickly.
100%. All right. Thank you for coming on the show, Collin. Been really enjoyable talking to you, getting your perspectives. Just close it out again by, I'm not sure if you're on Twitter. I'm sure StealthTest is, but share your Twitter profiles, LinkedIn, whatever you like. And again, tell people why and where they should go to learn about StealthTest.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Andy. Really appreciate it. You can find us at StealthTest at @StealthTest on Twitter, and you can find me on Twitter at StagflationUSA.
I like it. And of course, that website is simply stealthtest.com. It's in the show notes as well. Thank you so much, Collin. All the best, and bye for now.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, there you go. That was Collin from StealthTest, the end-to-end solution for Web3 development. Very good set of tooling they have there at stealthtest.com. I enjoyed that. Good talking to Collin. Look, it's an interesting time in crypto. Again, you will have seen, of course, the market is back on fire. Bitcoin surging, Ethereum surging today, as well as the market digests the news that BlackRock has filed for a spot ETF or spot Ethereum ETF, or is preparing to. So, man, lots happening in Q4 2023. Going to be an exciting Q1 next year, that is for sure. Thanks for listening, team. Please make sure you are subscribed to the Crypto Conversation in whatever podcast app you are using. But that is it for now. Thanks for listening. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. See ya.